Hi, this is Dr. Ben Quist.
And I'm fitness expert Jeremiah Kruger, and today we're talking about the massive mistake you are making when you're deadlifting. What's the number one way you've been injured in the gym?
Certainly the deadlift.
What's the number one exercise that's injured you in the gym?
Deadlift.
Deadlift. Yeah, I'd say deadlift for sure.
Deadlifts.
Deadlift.
Deadlift.
Deadlift. So Jeremiah, if the deadlift is so dangerous and can cause so many problems, why should anyone bother doing it?
So yeah, it's a good question. It's obviously a very high risk exercise, but it's also a very high reward. Number one, it engages the entire posterior chain, which will help grow a whole ton of muscle on the back side of your body. And because you're using so much muscle to move that weight, you're going to have a large hormone response. That large hormone response is going to help you for a whole host of different ways, one of them being just how much muscle you can build. If you want a big butt, you'll deadlift. Deadlift is going to help grow your butt. If you want to safely pick things up off the ground, being able to deadlift properly is a really good way to strengthen that ability and reduce risk of injury.
Before we go on to the biggest mistake, we need to give you a little bit of background information. So let's go outside. Now for a little background. So the most important thing when you are deadlifting is that you need to take control of your lumbar spine, your lower back. You have to be 100% in control of that area. And the position of strength for the lumbar spine while deadlifting is a position called spine neutral. So how do you get into spine neutral, or the position of strength of that lower back? I like to teach this concept with a bucket, okay? So let's picture the bucket is Jeremiah's pelvis. Sitting on top of his pelvis is his lower back or his lumbar spine. If you tip your pelvis slightly forward, pouring water forward, that is called an anterior tilt. Oh, right on his shoe. Okay, now bring it back. If you tip the bucket backwards, so pelvis coming backwards, flattening the back, that is a posterior tilt. Also, right water on his shoe. So the position of strength that you want to maintain is a slight anterior tilt. That is spine neutral, okay? So just like a little bit of water would be pouring out there. So to give you a visual of what's happening at his lumbar spine, if he goes into that posterior tilt, Jeremiah's lumbar spine is flexing back that way. That is by far the most dangerous thing you could do while deadlifting. If you're in that type of posture at your lower back, that's where the disc herniations occur. That's where the bulges occur. Now come back into that anterior tilt. So when he anterior tilts, his lumbar spine is going back the other direction. Now go to spine neutral. So spine neutral is just that little bit of an extended position at that lower back. So that's what we're going to be having you get into so that you don't make the biggest mistake. We're going to give you a visual of what it looks like when one of those discs is injured when you're deadlifting. So I always like to do this with a balloon and block model. Your butt is over here. Here's your lumbar, like your back area. Here's your stomach over here. And this is your spine, okay? We've got a vertebra here. We have a disc. We have a vertebra, a disc. And now I'm going to show you, when you fall out of spine neutral, let's have you tip forward spine. Thank you. Do you see how those discs just start to push backwards? That's a really awkward position for the discs. They're not very strong. You're deadlifting out of position and, oh, disc herniation. Okay, now for the biggest mistake. The biggest mistake you can make when deadlifting that it's going to cause those absolutely awful injuries we talked about before is not maintaining that spine neutral or slightly arched position of your lumbar spine as you're driving up through the deadlift. You have to maintain 100% complete pillar integrity, meaning that nothing moves between those shoulders and those hips in that spinal area while you're deadlifting. So at any point as Jeremiah is driving up, if he drops out of that spine neutral, typically it happens at the bottom of the motion, that's where those discs basically explode. So we're going to show you one deadlifting in the wrong position. So let's do a deadlift. He's posterior tilting here. He's really exaggerating it here, but come on up out of that position so that he's posterior tilted, not good, rounded spine, all the way up, very, very injury producing, and then come on back down. Okay, now let's get into that nice spine neutral position. Now he's locking through his entire core. Now drive up into the deadlift again, and you're gonna see nothing changing through that area of his back as he's coming up and down in that deadlift. Let's do a couple reps here. And good. So at any point in that movement, if that pelvis gets out of position, that's where that injury is going to happen. So the biggest mistake is not locking your pelvis into that spine neutral position and maintaining that through the entire motion. Okay, so how do you know if you're in spine neutral? Now, one of the things that I sometimes recommend is filming yourself, okay? And if you put a sticker or something that you can see on kind of the middle part of your shoulder and a sticker right on that part of your hip bone, that bony part of your hip, which is called the greater trochanter, right about there, you can see whether or not you're getting into that spine neutral position. So right now you can see that Jeremiah, if we connect these dots, he's in a nice straight, I like to call it a pillar, okay? So he has pillar integrity. Now Jeremiah, going to a posterior tilt, so what we absolutely don't want, do you see now that these are now in a curved shape? Okay, so he no longer has pillar integrity, right? So that dot is way below that one. So that's a really easy way to kind of visualize whether or not you're in spine neutral. Because again, we cannot stress the importance of being in that position when you're deadlifting. Here we have Mike, the average gym goer. He's deadlifting. He's looking pretty good with his form so far, but maybe the weight's a little too heavy. Maybe he tries to go for that last rep, and bang, he falls out of position.
Disc herniation.
Okay, there are two main takeaways from this video. Takeaway number one is that the position of strength for the spine, the lower part of the spine, is spine neutral when you're deadlifting. Spine neutral, again, just because we can't repeat this enough, is that slight anterior tilt of the pelvis, creating that just little bit of extension in your lower back.
Key takeaway number 2 is maintaining pillar integrity. That means that you need to maintain spine neutral all the way through that hinge movement, through that deadlift, the bend and the extension. You cannot lose this or you will injure yourself.
I hope that you liked our video today. If you did like it, please click the like sign for us. Also, possibly comment below on any videos that you'd like to see from the Quist Kruger team here. And Jeremiah?
Thank you for being interested in our interest. We really appreciate you watching this and being interested with us. Exercise, fitness, health, everything really excites us. We hope it excites you. So if you want to stay up to date, hit subscribe and you'll be able to see every video as soon as it comes out.
We also have a special gift for you. We have Ben and Jeremiah's favorite 60-second workout that we'll give you free if you just click the link below.